We got Wonder Woman Jackie Heinrich of Fox News duking it out and calling out DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas for immigration, for these murderers coming across the border, and just watch how he handles it.
Mr. Secretary, how was this man brought into the U.S.? What screening did he undergo? What did he apply for to get here?
Jackie, I'm here in North Carolina communicating with the individuals who are still conducting search and rescue operations. Over 200 people have lost their lives in Hurricane Helene. We have reports that at least 10 individuals have lost their lives as a result of Hurricane Milton. I'd be very pleased to answer your question in a different setting, but we're here to talk about it.
No, he wouldn't. They can't get this guy in a different setting. He sits there and hides from the press, which is why instead of asking about the victims and all these other things, which Fox has been covering for basically a week now, Mayorkas, Jackie has to take this moment to ask you about your botched immigration policies and your botched performance that you've done here as DHS secretary. So she has to take this moment now because she can't sit there and find you because you're a weasel and you're hiding in the swamp.
Emergencies and the support that we can deliver to people in desperate need. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Mr. Secretary, but we're getting conflicting answers from your agency and from the State Department about a man who was arrested for an election day terror plot. How do you not have those answers prepared?
Jackie, that's not what I said. What I said is I'd be pleased to discuss this issue at a different time, but I am here to speak about disasters that have impacted people's lives in real time, and that is the subject that I'm addressing today.
Mr. Secretary, can you assure people that appropriate steps have been taken to secure the country against these kinds of threats? Because the outstanding question is whether this man was radicalized before the U.S. government brought him here or afterward, and people should be concerned about that.
Jackie, your persistence in questioning can be matched by my persistence in answers.
All right, we're going to go. Go ahead, Gabe.
Mr. Secretary, thank you.
It's really astonishing that he's not going to sit there and answer it in the same way he wasn't willing to answer that whole idea of, hey, are there terrorists in this country? Is the border secure? And he was saying that the border wasn't secure. He was saying, well, a lot of lies to Congress. And I'll tell you something, it's pretty bonkers in terms of this guy still being allowed to run the Department of Homeland Security and make us a lot less safe in this country, not just for Democrats, but for Republicans, the Green Party, the psychos, everybody. So that's really telling because, again, he doesn't want to sit there and address the whole idea that he's terrible at his job. He doesn't want to sit there and address the fact that he's allowed 10 million plus people into this country, and that includes terrorists. It includes murderers, sex traffickers, smugglers, drugs, all this stuff. He is resoundingly making this country a worse place. One man is doing it. He's one of the most evil people, I think, in all of government right now, other than Adam Schiff. And that says a lot because you have Joe Biden up there. You got Kamala Harris up there as well. All these people are just destroying this country, and Democrats will sit there and they'll line up in the millions to vote for this stuff again. I can't wrap my head around it, just like all of you can. I know we say it each and every day, but really, it is an astonishing thing to see that we're living in different realities. And if you look in the comment section during our chats, give it like a day or two, just hop into some of our old videos, you guys, and just see what the liberals are saying. See what the Democrats are saying about the state of this country. And they'll tell you, well, what debate are you watching? Case in point, the JD Vance, Tim Walz debate, where JD completely wiped the floor with that guy. I mean, there was no comparison. They were telling me in that chat for that video, well, we're clearly watching two different debates. I thought Walz won. What debate are you watching? Everybody, majority of even your own party think that you got your ass kicked. And you're going to sit there and tell me that Walz beat JD, really? Jesus. I shouldn't be surprised. These are the same people that think men can become women, women can become men. You know, they sit there and live in a false reality. But, you know, it's all us that are wrong. Now, Biden's presser goes sideways in a hurry when a reporter asks about Netanyahu. Folks, this went really bad for Joey. This went really bad for Joey. There's a clip here, which we'll get to, but things went a little bit sideways on Thursday when President Joe Biden spoke to reporters about a recovery effort in the aftermath of hurricanes that hit Florida. Biden was taking questions from the press when AFP White House correspondent Danny Kemp asked for an update on hostilities between Israel and Lebanon. And well, Joey got a little upset. And not only that, he was also asked about Trump, and well, he stormed off. We'll watch that as well. Here we go.
Mr. President, what did Prime Minister Netanyahu tell you about his plans relating to retaliation?
He's coming over to help with a storm.
Mr. President, what did Prime Minister Netanyahu tell you about his plans relating to the retaliation against? He's coming over to help with the storm. Dude, that guy's so far gone. Joe is so far freaking gone. Yeah, you really. It makes you wonder. I mean, everybody's commenting on Twitter, by the way. Somebody's here saying, well, that's nice of him. That comes from Michael Knowles. Shout out to Michael. A recurrent Democrat talking point for years has been that Trump is embarrassing when it comes to international affairs. Here, Biden thought Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu is a hurricane relief worker. Jesus, dude. Where's our apology for Democrats voting for this guy? Have you guys noticed that? Like, you didn't even run allegedly, he's the most popular president that's ever ran in American history. And they sat there and dropped the guy. You got Curtis saying, President Biden misleads viewers by saying he and Vice President Harris are on the lookout for a price gouging Florida, promising federal action. Price gouging in Florida has already been a crime for decades. Let's check this out. This guy, geez.
Additionally, Vice President Harris and I said yesterday, and we'll say it again, to anyone who seeks to take advantage of our fellow Americans' desperation, whether you're a company engaging in price gouging or a citizen trying to scam your neighbors, we will go after you and we will hold you accountable.
I really, it makes you wonder where he gets this stuff. You know what I mean? It really does. And then somebody, this one really floored me yesterday. I actually asked this on Twitter yesterday if this is real. This dude is asked about Donald Trump and he loses his mind. The Trump derangement syndrome is so deep that he actually pulls a Karine Jean-Pierre and just walks off the stage.
His plans relating to retaliation.
He's coming over to help with a storm.
Mr. President, have you spoken with former President Trump at all?
Are you kidding me? Mr. President Trump, former President Trump, get a life, man. Help these people.
Will you hold him accountable? You said you were going to hold those accountable.
Public will hold them accountable. You better than the press hold them accountable because you know the truth.
Do you plan to speak with former President Trump?
No.
You, the press, better hold him accountable. How about all the stuff you destroyed? How about holding you accountable? We've been waiting for that for years, and it just never happened. I mean, for a short moment, right? We got maybe 3 weeks of the media finally waking up to the fact that Joe Biden wasn't cognizant, that Joe Biden is sitting there being chauffeured out on a gurney to sit there and lead this country, allegedly, with his brain not working. Yeah. We got 3 weeks, and then it just goes back to normal. 3 weeks, and then we got to pretend like Joey's okay. Oh, he needs to go out and help the hurricane victims. He was there before you, asshole. Like, I don't even think Joe's been there yet. Joe could barely walk to Marine One through blades of grass. You think he's going to be able to walk over freaking pebbles? Remember how they have to give him very specialized shoes to go off terrain? So ABC here says to Tim Walz, would you have done anything differently than Biden over the past 4 years? Kamala's values have not changed. I swear, man. It's like this. It's like when you're talking to somebody that's drunk and it goes, hey man, how you doing? I sat there and went to New York City. Just doesn't make any sense.
President Harris was asked this week on The View if she would have done anything differently than President Biden that he has done in the past 4 years. And she said, quote, there is not a thing that comes to mind. And she later said she would have a Republican in her cabinet. Yeah. And when it comes to President Biden and the presidency, do you see anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, and look, as a governor, I was asked to be governor of this state when Donald Trump was president and when Joe Biden was there. And I watched Donald Trump dismiss the COVID pandemic. I watched him drive an economy into the ground. And I watched Joe Biden and Kamala Harris pick those pieces up. And I think for all of us,
What? He created Operation Warp Speed, which you guys got the benefit of. All you had to do is ride in the guy's coattails. He was trying to sit there and beg governors like you to open things back up. Hey, Tim, you're the guy that allowed your city to burn down. You remember that? You allowed Black Lives Matter and Antifa to run roughshod over your entire city while you had the press out there. It's mostly peaceful. while buildings were ablaze. He destroyed the economy. Give me a freaking break.
We make decisions, we reanalyze afterwards. I think the thing that drew me to this ticket, and I think what the vice president's talking about, is that her values on these hasn't changed. They have been working for the middle class. They've been doing all they can to make sure prices come down. They're protecting reproductive care.
So it makes me want to ask you, do you think that Biden's done everything right?
Well, look, I don't know if any of us do everything right, but I can tell you he's done everything in the best interest of the American public.
Yeah, sure he has. Holy lordy. He's done the thing for the best interest of the American public. I think you need to sit there and swap that out for immigrants and everybody else in the world. He sat there and put everybody else in front of Americans. And he just has the balls to say it, right? Because people believe it. People believe it. I wouldn't be surprised me showing these clips, you guys, that our YouTube stream gets taken down again. So just a heads up, it probably will. What do you say to voters who blame Kamala for the sky-high prices for the past 4 years? Walz goes, going to grocery store, you see false information. I'm so botched.
And let's talk about the economy. That is the top issue for voters out there. 74% of voters said the past year they've had to cut back on groceries because of the rising costs, of course. And a lot of those voters, they're concerned that they cast their vote for Kamala Harris, but she's responsible for that. So how do you reach those voters? What do you say to those voters who may blame her for the economy right now?
Yeah, folks in the middle. Well, we talk to them about what are the policies that are going to make a difference. And we see some of the data, but data doesn't impact people in their daily lives. Going to the grocery store and you see false information, whether it's bird flu impacting eggs. But the reality for most people is if those costs are up, they want to know what you're going to do about it. I think that's why she's focusing on making sure whether it's home ownership more affordable, tax cuts for the middle class, and let's just be candid about this. There's price gouging piece of this.
And let's talk about the economy.
Don't worry, folks. Going to the grocery store, you see false information. Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Sure. The question is why hasn't Kamala done anything of the things she says she's going to do for the first 4 years in the White House? And this is what he had to say. Like, why hasn't she done anything? She's vice president now. Why hasn't she worked with Joe Biden to figure this all out?
They were saying that, hey, these are policies that Kamala Harris could have done 3 years ago when she was in the White House with President Biden, and she never did. What do you say to people who bring that up?
Well, Donald Trump had 4 years to do it, if you're going to talk about that. And what the point is, you need a partner in Congress. You've seen these. We've seen different bills that are ready to pass, and Donald Trump makes sure he steps in. We saw it around immigration, a bipartisan bill, widely respected.
Hey, Tim, you idiot. The question wasn't about Donald Trump. It was about the lady that you're sitting there running for office with. Oh, I was governor. I sat there and did so much stuff. You can't even sit there and answer a freaking 5th grade question, dude.
Wanting to make a difference in this, holding true to our values, securing the border, Donald Trump steps in and says, look, that's...
Whoa.
Of a bipartisan bill, widely respected, wanting to make a difference in this, holding true to our values, securing the border, in this, holding true to our values, securing the border, in this, holding true to our values, securing the border, in this, holding true to our values, securing the border. Donald Trump steps in and says, look, that's going to hurt my political future.
Holding true to our values to secure the border. This is the crap that we got to deal with together as a community. This is the crap that we got to listen to. It's our values to secure the border. Since when, dude? Since when? Your party sat there and fought Donald Trump freaking every day when he was president because he wanted to build a border wall. It's our values to secure the border. No, it's not, you idiot. You could do it tomorrow. You can do it now. You can do it in an hour. So Tim Walz crashes and burns trying to explain why he lied about the weapons in war and being in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square massacre. He botches during the debate. He still doesn't have an answer. The guy's an idiot. You would have to admit that at some point this would come up, right? You would have to at least have the wherewithal to know I need a better answer to this question. He still doesn't have it.
Yourself a knucklehead. Call yourself a knucklehead because you've made some statements that just aren't true. And the comment about weapons of war that I carried in war, which you didn't. You said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square massacre when you weren't. You kind of chalked it all up to bad grammar or getting the dates wrong.
Yeah.
But your opponents say you lied to make yourself look better. Do they have a point?
Well, look, 35 years ago, got the opportunity to be in Hong Kong, be in China, learned a lot about it, served 24 years in the National Guard, passionately, in an instance, talking about gun violence in schools, on an instance there, proud of the service that I've done. proud to be a teacher in that classroom, proud to have been very public all these years and owning it when I, said, look, I was there in August of '89. And I think what you see here, you saw it in Minnesota, been elected 8 times here. These things have been very public for folks here. They see the results of things that we pass. We see a state that's a top 5 state for business. We see 3rd best state, top 3 state for raising a child, and we've got the best health care. And I think the policies, whether it be dealing with China and understanding China's human rights record, what you can be certain there is that Kamala Harris and I aren't going to, pick dictators on speed dial. See, Xi Jinping is doing a good job during COVID as Donald Trump.
Jesus, dude. Just look. The American people are very forgiving. You sat there, you lied. Just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. That was a really stupid thing to do. I definitely probably shouldn't have said that. Whatever. Come up with something and then move on. I mean, if it's, he said it was like 30 years ago, like, okay, whatever. We can all move on at that point.